Hello everyone, welcome for the lectures of natural language processing. Today I will let you know about efficient parsing. Up till now you are aware of how parsing is done in natural language processing. For that we have discussed various concepts like simple top-down and bottom-up parsing strategy for parsing sentence in natural language processing. Then adding chart parsing strategy in top-down and bottom-up strategy. And other than that, we have learned how features can be incorporated while parsing to make the parsing effective. That is what we have discussed up till now. Now we need to move towards, in the sense we need to think about how that parsing can be made efficiently, how it can be conducted in more efficient way. So from that perspective, we are going to learn one more algorithm today, that is shift reduce parser. Before starting with shift reduce parser, I'll let you know what exactly is the thing which causes overhead while parsing. So the next point which we will be discussing is apart from chart parsing or simple top-down bottom-up parsing strategy, the thing which is taken into consideration to make parsing more efficient is how human gives preferences while parsing. If that are to be incorporated, then how the ambiguity while parsing can be resolved. Because what is the exact meaning of ambiguity? Whenever you are using any kind of parsing technique and you are getting more than one parse representation for that sentence, then that kind of output is called as ambiguous output. So to resolve ambiguity related to the garden path statements, like the raft floated down, the river sank, to deal with these kind of sentences, there should be some strategy. That what exactly is that strategy, or how these kind of sentences are dealt with, that we will be discussing. In case of this sentence, the raft floated down, the river sank, when you read the word sank, you realize that the interpretation you have constructed so far for the sentence is not correct. In literature, such sentences are called as garden path sentence, based on the expression about leading someone down a garden path. Here are few of the general principles that appear to predict when garden path arrives. So the three principles are given: minimal attachment, right association, and lexical preferences. So out of which we'll be going through first, that is minimal attachment principle. So minimal attachment principle says that if you are considering this as a set of grammar, and if this is the sentence to be parsed, in that case the sentence to be parsed is the man kept the dog in the house. So for this sentence, considering these as a set of CFGs, if you get these two as a parse representation of the input, in that case the output, correct parse representation which would be selected, will be decided on the principle of minimal attachment is nothing but the tree representation which will get selected, which has minimum number of nodes in the parse representation, and that is why it is called as minimal attachment principle, which states that there is a preference for the syntactic analysis that creates the least number of nodes in the parse tree. So with this two representation, this representation generates 14 nodes, whereas this 15, that is why the representation with least node, that is 14 nodes, it will consider as a correct representation, and this is how it will resolve with the ambiguity. But every time it would not be the same case. the principle is not going to work correctly with respect to all the sentences. For example, if you will take into consideration the horse was rest past than the barn fed. If we will take into consideration this sentence, which has a reasonable interpretation corresponding to the meaning of the sentence, in the initial sentence, however, creating a reduced relative clause when the word rest is encountered introduces many more nodes than the simple analysis where rest is the main verb of the sentence. So for that, you need to take into consideration another principle as well. The next principle is right association, or it is also termed as late closure. This principle states that all other things being equal, new constituent tend to be interpreted as being part of the current constituent under construction rather than the part of some constituent higher in the parts tree. Thus, if this is the given sentence, George said that Henry left in his car. In that case, there would be two interpretation. Like the way this is highlighted, the George said that Henry left in his car. George said that Henry left in his car. Okay, this is how the sentences would be interpreted. So the interpretation which would get selected with this is going to be right association, by taking into consideration the right association. Same for explanation of the same, another sentence is taken into consideration. I thought it would rain yesterday. Similarly, another stress point would be I thought it would rain yesterday. Here are two representations shown for the sentence. George said that Henry left in his car. The two interpretations are shown in the figure. Both are correct. The former attaches the PP to VP, intermediately preceding it, whereas the latter attaches the PP to VP higher in the tree. Thus, the right association principle prefers the former. Similarly, the preferred interpretation for the sentence I thought it would rain yesterday is that yesterday was when it was thought to rain rather than the time of the thinking. But in some cases, it seems to conflict these two principles with each other. For example, in the sentence, the man kept the dog in the house, the principle of right association appears to favor the interpretation in which PP modifies the dog, while the minimal attachment principle appears to favor PP modifying the VP. So in that case, another third principle comes into picture, wherein lexical preferences are taken into consideration and accordingly correct interpretation is required to be decided. So these are some examples which demonstrates that the lexical items, in this case the verb used, can influence parsing preferences. In many cases, the lexical preferences will override the preferences based on the general principles. So these are the principles derived from the way human gives preferences while encoding ambiguity. So based on that, obviously there should be some algorithmic model which would be doing or incorporating all these principles. But apart from that, the main topic which we are supposed to discuss in this session is how parsing could be made efficient. So from that point of view, we will be discussing one of the parser called as a shift reduce parsers. All of you are aware of strategy which shift reduce parser uses. It is one of the bottom-up parser which parses the sentence from one word till it gets all the words under one sentence as with respect to given set of CFGs. And it keeps on, obviously it is a deterministic parser, as it is a table driven parser. It has to have certain table to take the decisions of shift and reduce. So if we'll consider this set of grammar as gives VP, NP, NP gives article noun, then VP gives auxiliary verb NP and VP gives VNP. If these are the set of CFGs to be considered for parsing, it constructs the transition graph based on the given set of CFGs, wherein the state transition graph is shown. For example, if S0 is the start state and if it gets article, then it is expected to move to state S1. Similarly, when it gets, after getting article, when it is moving to, or we are shifting it to S1 state, and when it gets N, after that, after getting article, it is expected to go to S1 dash. S1 dash, whatever are the dash states, all that are considered as a end states, whatever dash states are there. So that dash states indicates the action to be performed is a reduce, whereas other all states indicates action to be performed is shift. For an example, as after getting S0 you are going to get NP, in that case action to be performed is S2. When after getting NP you are getting consecutively V, then action to be taken is shift to S3 state. If you are going to get NP again, in that case it is going to move to S3 dash state. Once it goes to S3 dash state, it will perform an action of reduce, wherein reduce operation will be performed. What exactly is done in reduce operation? Whatever that rule states, that S gives, let's say, NPVP, and you are going to get NPVP, in that case reduce operation will reduce that NPVP to S. It will replace NPVP by S. This is how the reduction operation will be performed. Now from this transition graph, the spatial table is made called as a oracle, which states the action to be performed, sequence of the, it will give you exactly in whatever state you are, if you are getting, so this is the S0 state, and if you are going to get from input stack, if you are going to get article, in that case action to be performed and where to go if shift action is to be performed. If reduce operation is to be performed, then what, with respect to what a rule, which rule reduction is to be done, all that things will be stated. So all these states are the states which are there on the parse stack, whereas these are the things or possibilities, a set of possibilities which you may get as an input symbol. So how this parser works is nothing but, I'll show you one example. If the sentence to be parsed is the man ate the carrot, and obviously initially stack will be filled with S0. All of you have learned shift reduce parser, how to construct the parsing table and all that kind of things we have already learned in system programming. If you want, you can go through that video as well, and so that you will be able to understand it very clearly. I am not going to repeat same thing again, but I'll show you the same use of same parser applied with natural language processing. So here the input stack contains the man ate the carrot, and on input stack initially always parse stack will be filled with S0, input stack with complete sentence, and as it is bottom up parser, it will read one token. So S0, the top of stack is from this side with respect to parse stack, and from input stack this is at this side. So first of all it will fetch the, its part of speech category given is article, so that is why S0 on article, what S0 on article says in the table, S0 on article says shift to S1, so that is why it will write S1 over here, perform action to be performed is shift over here. Then next what it will do, it will fetch next token man, part of speech category of which is N, noun. So what is the thing action to be performed with respect to table? When S1 gets noun. So when S1 gets noun, S1 on noun says shift to S1 dash. So it will push S1 dash onto the parse stack. Then once it get S1 dash, what S1 dash says, reduce. When it goes in dash state, reduce operation is to be performed always. That is why it will check. Reduce operation is to be performed with respect to rule 2.2. Rule 2.2 is NP gives article noun. So article nouns are expected to be reduced by NP. So that is why what it will do, this article noun it will reduce by NP and will push on to input stack. Then this input stack, again next token will be, which will be fetched from input stack is going to be NP. So it will fetch and push it onto parse stack. What S0 on NP says from the table, S0 on NP says that shift to S2 state. So that is why it will push S2 state onto parse stack. This is how it will continue the parsing unless and until it is going to get S0 dash, because there is only one state into the parse table which is going to indicate action succeed. So S0 on epsilon is going to give the state as a succeed. So obviously when S0 dash is there and then nothing is there onto input stack, at that time it will be able to conclude that parsing is done successfully. So as this is deterministic parsing, there is no, obviously, but the thing which is required with respect to this kind of parser is, prerequisite for this parser is the grammar should be unambiguous. Only in that case it will be able to give you correct output. I hope you have understood how shift reduce parser is used for parsing natural language sentence. Thank you.